Welcome to the Eczema Warrior podcast. I'm your host, Julia Chen. I'm here to help you heal your eczema naturally so you can finally live your best damn life. Many years ago in my own eczema healing journey, I was stuck and confused on how to heal my skin. Fast forward to today, after many lessons learned and lots of trial and error, I am now living my best life and traveling the world with clearer skin. If you're an eczema or TSW warrior who desires a life of food freedom and is wanting to heal your skin without steroids while using mindset and manifestation as a tool, you're in the right place. Now let's get into it. Hi everyone, welcome to episode 66. Today we're going to talk about how to heal your gut after taking antibiotics. If you guys listened to my last episode, I shared with you how I got this insane staph infection. I'm so surprised that I even got it because, as I shared in the episode, the last time I got a staph infection was during TSW when my skin was really at a bad state. And now my eczema is under control and I have like minor flares here and there depending on my triggers, depending on my stress. And then somehow I got this like crazy staph infection. So anyways, that it's been over a week now since I got this infection and it's pretty much all clear. I'm finished my antibiotics and I've done a lot of gut healing over the past week because, as you may or may not know, when you take antibiotics, it really, really impacts your gut health because it wipes away all the good bacteria and the bad bacteria, of course. So we really want to make sure that when you're on antibiotics and also when you're off antibiotics, like when you finished it, you want to be healing your gut. So I thought this would be the perfect time for me to share an episode and talk all about this. All right, before we get into today's episode, I want to do a little bit of a life update. I feel like I haven't actually done a life update because I've just been literally in Vietnam working and changing my content. I think I shared that with you guys where I'm actually shifting my practice now to seeing people who don't necessarily have eczema or TSW and they just want support when it comes to inflammation and symptoms. And the reason because what I realized is that when people are trying to heal their eczema, they're also dealing with a lot of other symptoms beyond their skin. People are struggling with stress, burnout, mindset, energy levels are low, like fatigue, gut issues. And so instead of just focusing on eczema, I think why not expand my practice and help people who need help with all other areas as well. And just be able to heal their eczema, of course, if they have it. And if they don't have it, become the best version of themselves and just feel healthy in their body and just feel like they can have control of their symptoms without relying on medications. So I shared that in a previous episode. Besides that is I am going into a new country. I feel like I do this thing where every time I'm like, I'm going to a new country and I kind of keep it a secret because I don't know. I think it's just like more exciting when I'm in the country. Actually, sorry, let me just go backwards. The time of when this episode is being released, I'm going to be in a new country. I'm actually not going to be showing up on social media during this time because I'm actually taking a full 2-week vacation. And I have not done this since I don't even know when. I started coaching in my business back in 2020. I've never taken a full 2-week vacation. I think the longest I've ever taken was like over a long weekend or maybe a week. But during that week, I would still try and show up. For example, I don't know if you guys remember, when I went on my boat cruise, I had no access to internet, so it was really difficult for me to show up. But whenever I had a chance to have Wi-Fi, I would like show up in stories and, still trying to run my business. But this time I'm really going to be intentional to not be on social media. Number one, the country that I'm going to, there's just so much to do, so much going on. I have a lot of exciting things that I'm doing there. So I would prefer to not have to work during this time. And because I've never actually taken a full vacation and I'm traveling with a friend. So I thought, okay, this would be a good time for me just to tune out because everyone needs that, right? Everyone needs a vacation. Everyone needs to tune out of social media once in a while because it can get very exhausting, especially if you're someone listening and you also run a business online. It's like you're always online, you're always showing up. And so tuning out and just focusing on you is really important when it comes to healing, when it comes to your mindset, when it comes to your mental health. So I'm going to be in a new country and I'm so excited to share with you guys my update there. I have been waiting for this trip since beginning of the year. Literally, like, I'm so freaking excited, you have no idea. And then after this trip, I'm actually gonna be going back to Canada, which is where I'm originally from, back to my hometown, Vancouver, BC, for the rest of summer, which is super exciting. It's been a full year of me not being back home, even though really home is where I am because 'cause I'm traveling all the time. But it's nice to be able to go back to my friends, to see my family, and just see my dog Taco. I don't know if you guys remember, but I have a puppy, or he's not really a puppy anymore. I guess he's 2 years old, 2.5 years old. He's still a puppy. I haven't seen him for a whole year, so I'm gonna be back to being a full-time dog mom. There are some other things that I'm actually planning for business. For example, this podcast, I'm going to be up-leveling it. I will be actually having a proper microphone. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I've actually been recording on my phone because yeah, that's basically what I have in terms of tools, but I'm upgrading. I'm going to be having proper microphone. I'm going to be recording it on video. So it's going to be a whole thing. Okay. So, anyways, I don't want to talk too much about me because I actually want to talk about today's episode. But I will do a bigger life update if you guys are curious in the next few episodes. Okay. Today's topic on how to heal your gut post antibiotics. So, there are a few things I want to talk about. I want to talk about the best foods. I want to talk about the supplements to consider taking when you're healing your gut and how important it is to also prioritize your stress and your mindfulness practice, which I always talk about. So, for those of you who have taken antibiotics for your skin, let's say you've gotten an infection before, like staph infection, you do have to take antibiotics to heal that. Or if you've just taken antibiotics in general for a cold, for an illness, for other infections, these antibiotics really impact your gut. This is why when people take antibiotics, they notice symptoms like side effects from it. For example, people get diarrhea because it can cause loose stools when you're on antibiotics. People even get C. diff, which is an infection that causes diarrhea. People notice their anxiety levels are through the roof. They feel more anxious. And it makes sense, right? Because when you're taking these antibiotics, it impacts your gut. And because your gut is linked to everything in the body, like your brain health, your immune system. And so when you're taking these antibiotics and it's affecting your gut negatively, it's also going to affect other areas negatively as well. That being said, I'm not saying don't take antibiotics. Like there is a time and place for it, and you definitely need to take it when you want to get an infection under control because the last thing you want is for an infection to get out of control and that could be definitely fatal. People get sepsis from it, which is when your infection goes into your blood. And we definitely don't want to do that. Those are the side effects when it comes to antibiotics. And when you are trying to heal your gut, when you're taking antibiotics, so you can do this both when you're on it and also after you've finished your course of antibiotics, is to include gut healing foods. So, some of the best gut healing foods you want to be eating during this time, I'm going to be giving a few examples: bone broth, garlic and onions, and leeks. Basically, you want to focus on foods that are high in prebiotics. Prebiotics are basically food that probiotics, which is the good bacteria, need in order to thrive. And so, adding lots of prebiotic foods is going to be helping a lot in terms of healing the gut lining, for the microbiome diversity. In particular, foods like garlic and onions, they are high in prebiotics. So it's good to eat these regularly to help combat the harmful bacteria that happens when there is not enough good bacteria. And it helps to support the growth of the beneficial bacteria. So be intentional with including these foods into your diet, maybe cooking garlic and onions more often into your meals. That's one type of food you can start adding into your diet. And then bone broth. I love drinking bone broth when I'm trying to heal my gut. Bone broth is a really rich source of collagen, which is a protein that helps to maintain not only your skin, but also it helps to heal the gut lining. It actually provides an amino acid called glutamine. which is crucial for repairing the gut lining, which often gets damaged from taking antibiotics. And we'll talk about glutamine as a supplement as well, but you can definitely get this nutrient from drinking bone broth soup. So you can get bone broth at the store. They usually come in the frozen section. You can just buy it and drink it, cook it on the stove. The other thing you can do is make your own bone broth. So you can actually buy a whole chicken and boil the bones down. And that can also be a form of bone broth that you can drink on a regular basis. The next food to include are leeks. Leeks are extremely high in prebiotics as well, which helps to nourish the beneficial bacteria in the gut. And so adding more leeks into your diet is crucial for this. So you can cook leeks the way that you want to cook it. I actually like to make leek soup. So I'll cut up leeks and I'll put it into a soup and drink soups when I'm trying to heal my gut. So that is also something that you can add into your diet as well. So those are the 3 best foods to include when you're trying to heal your gut post antibiotics. Okay, moving on to best supplements for healing the gut. So we know that antibiotics will strip away not only the bad bacteria, but also the good bacteria. So that being said, you want to replenish the gut with probiotics, which is the good bacteria. Studies have shown that the best strains of probiotics for healing your gut post antibiotics, they are the lactobacillus and bifidobacterium species, in particular lactobacillus rhamnosus and lactobacillus acidophilus, bifidobacterium lactis, bifidobacterium longum. Those are some examples of some good species to take in terms of your probiotic when you're selecting them. Also, Saccharomyces boulardii, which is a beneficial yeast that can help to prevent antibiotic-associated diarrhea. So for those of you who get extremely loose stools and even diarrhea when you're on antibiotics, selecting a probiotic that contains Saccharomyces boulardii can be helpful. And of course, all of these probiotics help to replenish the gut and balance the gut flora. So you want to be taking them during your antibiotic treatment. However, I want to mention that when you're taking your probiotic, you have to make sure that you take it away from your antibiotic. Because if you take it too closely with your antibiotic dose, then the antibiotic is going to kill off the probiotic. So I usually recommend a minimum of 2 hours between your probiotic and antibiotic. So let's say you have to take your antibiotic 2 times a day, which was actually my dosage for my treatment for my staph infection. So I took my probiotic in the morning, and then I took my antibiotic for lunch and dinner because it's 2 meals a day. So that way I'm spacing it out between my probiotic and the antibiotic so they don't impact each other. The other supplements I recommend taking to heal your gut are supplements that contain the ingredients L-glutamine, slippery elm, marshmallow root, zinc. These are some examples. There's definitely other gut healing ingredients that you could take, but these are the ones that you can find in a lot of those gut healing powders. I don't know if you have seen them before, but I actually recommend it quite often to my clients. And it's usually a combination of these ingredients that help to support the gut lining. So these herbs, for example, slippery elm and marshmallow root, they help to coat and soothe the digestive tract, and it basically helps to promote healing and protect the gut lining from any kind of inflammation and irritation. So this is really important when you are on antibiotics that you want to be healing the gut lining as well, because when your gut lining is damaged from not just antibiotics, but honestly, your gut lining could be damaged from other factors too, right? Like processed diet, high stress lifestyle, other medications and whatnot. And so it's important to always be supporting your gut lining as much as possible, but more so when you're on antibiotics. Marshmallow roots and slippery elm and glutamine are really good for that. It helps to regenerate the cells in the gut, which we want. And then zinc is a nutrient that I'm sure a lot of you have heard about before. Zinc is a mineral that helps with cell growth and repair. So it's also important for healing the gut lining as well. And you'll find a lot of these supplements with a combination of these nutrients to support the gut lining. So this is why when I'm helping my clients support their gut health and heal the gut, I'm not just like selecting one nutrient or one supplement at a time. And I'm looking at a blend of nutrients, a blend of herbs that's going to be the most effective in the healing. Okay, so far we talked about some foods that are important to eat when you are on antibiotics and off of it, and some supplements to take. But you guys know the number one thing that is going to be more impactful than anything else is to make sure that you are prioritizing rest. Your body really needs to rest when you're healing from an infection, when you're healing from inflammation. And so making sure that you're slowing down, take a few days off from work if you're dealing with an infection, if you're taking a bunch of antibiotics. Try and get to bed early, sleep before 11, because during sleep is when your body is repairing, when your body is trying to heal. And so we want to really prioritize that in order to see healing happen a lot faster. If you're not getting enough sleep, if you're exhausted, then your immune system is going to be very compromised, and it already is when you are dealing with an infection. And so we don't want to make things worse, right? We want to get enough rest as much as possible. Sleep more if you need to. I know that when I was going through my staph infection, I was freaking exhausted. It makes sense, right? Like my body's fighting the infection. Not only this, the antibiotics really drained me because it was affecting my gut health. And of course, if it affects my gut, it's going to affect everything else. So I was extremely fatigued. I slept many, 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 many hours more than usual. And that's fine. Like your body needs that. So making sure that you're really prioritizing rest, doing your mindfulness practice, trying not to be overly stressed. And then that way you're going to heal a lot faster and recover a lot quicker. And this is how I'm able to recover from my infections, from my flares, if I ever go through it faster than most people, I would say, is because I have the steps to heal myself. I have the tools in place. I have my professional grade supplements. And I also teach my clients the same thing too. A lot of the times before working with me, my clients really struggle with recurring infections, recurring staph infections, because they know kind of what to do to heal their body, but they don't know exactly which supplements to take. They don't know that there's actually a step-by-step process in healing the gut that we use in clinical practice. And so even just working with someone to help you through this process, through healing your gut, through managing your chronic symptoms, is going to speed up your healing a lot faster. So with that being said, if you need support when it comes to your healing and you're struggling with inflammation, you're struggling with chronic symptoms, you want to be able to heal without relying on medications, then I'm here for you. This is what I do inside my practice, and you can work with me inside my eczema focus program, which is clear eczema. But if you have symptoms outside of eczema, you can also apply for coaching in the show notes below. I hope you found this episode helpful. If you have any questions about healing your gut, about antibiotics, about my staph infection, and everything that we talked about in today's episode, then feel free to reach out to me at any time. I am pretty active on Instagram at juliachen.rd. And yeah, enjoy the rest of your day, enjoy the rest of your night, and we will see you in the next episode. Thanks for tuning in to today's episode. Now, before I let you go, I want to let you know I have this amazing eczema visualization. This visualization has helped me so much when it comes to manifesting eczema healing, healing flares faster than I could ever imagine, reducing the itch, and just feeling great in my body. This is the exact same visualization I use for my own healing as well as my clients' healing as well. And if you want to receive this visualization, then all you have to do is leave us a review and tell us what you think about the podcast, screenshot it, send it to your email at hello@juliachen.ca, and you will receive the visualization to your inbox. I look forward to seeing your review, and we will see you in the next episode.